Hello, welcome. Just let you connect to audio. I'm excited to see you all here. Feel free to turn on your cameras if you want to. I'd love to see you. I guess I should have defaulted to have cameras on. Then people would have had it on. Hello, great to see you. We're going to get started right away here because I've got a lot to get through. So, welcome to the vendors virtual launch party for the shop secondhand directory. Yay, I'm very excited. Very excited to show you what this is all about and how it's going to help your shops and services. So, thank you so much for coming out tonight and for your curiosity and for showing your support. It is wonderful to see some friendly faces on the cams. Hello and to meet some new ones. I know I've chatted to some of you and some of you I haven't chatted to before. I'm looking forward to getting to know you. I'm Christina, for those who I haven't met already, and I'll introduce myself a little bit more fully in a minute. But if you can see and hear me okay, do a thumbs up with your hand or the Zoom thumbs or whatever you want. Awesome. I'd love it if you could say hi in the chat and let me know where you're joining us from tonight. Be cool to see where everyone's coming from. So we are here for the official launch call of the shop secondhand directory. We're going to be on this call for probably about an hour, maybe a little less if I can go through it quickly. I want to get you on your way, obviously, but we'll take whatever questions you have. Hello from Ottawa, Nova Scotia, Mississauga. Hey, Kara. Hi, Maddie. Oakville, Hamilton, Wisconsin. Awesome. Hi, Tyler. Great to see you in person. Okay. So if you've been to one of my events before, you know I like to start with a land acknowledgement. Thunder Bay. Oh, Krista's in Thunder Bay. Sorry. That's where I'm from. I got so excited. If you've been to one of my events before, you know that I like to start off with a land acknowledgement to offer a moment of reflection about all of us connecting together from different places and to recognize the origins of the land that we all collectively live on. So vintage, antiques, resale, all of it is about passing on stories to other people, to new generations. And I like to recognize the connection of that with the significance of history and storytelling for Indigenous peoples. So the Vintage Seeker, and by extension, the Shop Secondhand Directory, is located on land that has long since served as a site of meeting and exchange among Indigenous peoples, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabeg, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat. And we thank them and the many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis that now call this traditional territory home. I've included here an image of the land I'm grateful to live and work on, and I chose this image for two reasons. One, because it's specifically the Scarborough Bluffs, and it's not too far from where I live. I'm grateful to have this available to me living in a big city like Toronto, and that we've preserved incredible places like this. And two, because it's a peaceful place where I can reflect on the fact that I live alongside the largest Indigenous community in Toronto outside the downtown core, and I share this land with them. I also want to recognize that all of you on this call are joining us from different ancestral territories, and I acknowledge their connections to the living histories of your lands as well. Visit native-land.ca to learn more about the land that you live on, and that site works beyond Canada as well. It's a very cool site that has a lot of information on it. So, about me, for those who don't know me, I'm Christina Urquhart, and I started the Vintage Seeker in April 2021. It's an indie magazine / resource hub for buyers and sellers. I'm not actually a seller myself, but I have been a consumer of vintage and secondhand for quite some time. And I started this whole thing because it was clear to me that there was an information gap, particularly as the market started to get really hot with people becoming really interested in secondhand and sustainability. Shoppers don't always understand the work of reselling or what's involved, why prices are the way they are, and sellers need better ways to communicate what they do to buyers. So I've been in media publishing for almost 20 years now, and I've written about businesses of all sizes over my career, but I also just happen to love small business. I'm from a family of small business owners, and supporting our local economies is one of my torches that I'm always carrying and nattering on about. People ask me what I do. In a nutshell, I deliver information, right? I spend a lot of my time having conversations with you all. I go away and think about what you've said, and then I put it into words for a larger audience. And I help you all do that too through social media, which you share a lot. Thank you very much. Through articles, programming, and things like the Vintage Sellers Community Membership, which I'll talk a little bit more about later. So ultimately, Vintage Seeker is here to help secondhand sellers and services reach shoppers. So, enough about me, because I actually like talking about what you do instead. But it is a good segue into tonight, because what better way to reach people than by surfacing your businesses and getting them in front of people? So this is what we're going to do tonight. I'm going to spend about 15 minutes talking to you about the why and the problems that we're trying to solve with this directory. We're going to talk about the directory itself, cover some of the early questions you all had as of this afternoon anyways. We're going to tour the front end together, and I'm going to take you into the back end to show you the dashboard. And then we'll go over the free, standard, and showcase plans. And I will take questions as well, of course. Probably more so throughout the tour part and at the end, as opposed to right now, because I'm just going to say a lot of stuff right now. You're welcome to drop questions in the chat at any time. But yeah, like I said, I won't answer them right away. This session is being recorded though, and I'll email it out by tomorrow morning to everybody who registered. So I want to do a quick poll. I'm just going to switch my screen around so I can kind of like see you, because I have a lot of stuff going on here now. Raise your hand on your Zoom or put an amen in the chat or whatever if any of this sounds kind of familiar. That you have a hard time being seen online, reaching new people, and no one really knows about the services that you provide. Yeah. Someone on the survey said 3 to 5% of my audience are being shown my posts. Someone else said people just don't know about my business. Another one, hi, I need to find more customers and increase my sales because sales are slow. Or I'm having trouble getting my shop seen by existing customers, let alone new ones. Yes, happens sometimes. Somebody said that customer spends are down due to the economy and costs are up. And I don't necessarily want a bigger business, which is totally fair because in terms of scope, most of us are one-person operations and you can only go so far. Here's another one. Social media is a ghost town and I don't understand the algorithm or it's overwhelming or whatever. Does that sound familiar? It sounds familiar to me for sure. Someone said that engagement is awful and people just don't know about my business. Someone else said keeping up with content. Why are you suddenly a content creator feeding the social media machine? I could write an essay on all of these things, but the way that people interact online has changed so much over the past couple of years even. And overall, it's very passive now. And as a small business owner, you got to adapt to that and maybe not spend as much time doing the things that you used to do on there because it's not working out as well anymore. You've got stuff to do. How about there's a lot to juggle as a small business owner? I'm limited in how much I can grow. Somebody said, too much stuff. I don't know where to begin. They might have been talking about their inventory, but either way, inventory or things to do admin-wise, there's too much stuff. Another person said creating listings is onerous, and I found that funny for today's presentation, so I put it in there. So I'm going to give you one more listing to do, but it won't be a product listing. But absolutely, product listings are so onerous. I love seeing the yeses in the chat. Thank you. Marketing my business doesn't seem to work with anything I've tried, or I don't have the time. Somebody said that a major challenge is promoting and driving traffic to their pages. Oh, I'm sorry if you lost audio. Has anybody else lost audio? Okay. Kendall, can you take a look at was it Kimberly? Kimberly, see if you can ask her to have her audio. I can hear her, so. Okay. Hopefully you'll be able to catch it at some point, Kimberly. I will make sure that the recording has transcript and stuff. So marketing my business doesn't seem to work with anything I've tried, or I don't have the time. Promoting or driving traffic to my pages is difficult, right? I want to try something new, maybe a collaboration, but I don't know who to contact or people don't know how to find me. So somebody else wrote, reaching the right buying audience is a challenge. So that's what I hear from all of you. Feel free to drop other things that you have problems with in the chat, but I tried to condense the stuff that you put in that registration form. And those are all things I had in mind when I was creating the directory, but you really showed up and told me in your own words about what was happening. And so I put some of your direct quotes in here. So thank you so much for that. Here is what I hear from shoppers, from consumers. Where do I find 90s collectibles, disco clothes for a party, places that sell antique teacups? I inherited XYZ. Who sells this thing? I need to get rid of it. I need somebody local to me. I don't want to pay shipping, blah, 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 costs, etc. You all know the drill, what customers say. What's the value of my item? places that do appraisal or clear out, etc. Best place to get my lamp repaired, etc. I don't know where to begin to even look. If they're familiar with thrifting and antiquing, they might plan a day out. Obviously, they're going to go to a market, they're going to go to Etsy, Posh, all those places. But the average customer doesn't know about all this stuff. They don't know about Maxsold necessarily. They don't even necessarily know about Whatnot or Knickknacks or whatever platform you're using, whatever market you're at. They also get trapped on the platforms that they do use. So we kind of forget that because you're on different platforms all the time. You're used to it. These folks, if you're a Posh user, you're going to always be on Posh and you're not seeing the other sellers that are around you, right? It's hard to find what I'm looking for. So vintage, secondhand feels like it's one of one. We all know it not always is, but some of it can feel like that. So if you've ever been looking for a vintage farmhouse decor piece or a vintage dress on any of these platforms and you're sort of hop, skipping, and jumping over the mass-produced item these days and the drop-shipped items, that can be really frustrating when you're a consumer. Sometimes consumers don't know what they're even looking for in the first place. They just want to browse around, right? And this one's really tough right now for a shopper. And it's especially true if you're after a particular niche, like wanting a good selection of plus-size clothing shops to bookmark to come back to, or a list of party wear stores because you're going to wear something awesome to a wedding, or you just want to bookmark a bunch of shops that stock militaria because your dad's into World War II and you always need a gift for him, right? There's just things that come up that the current platforms don't necessarily provide with people, especially if they're looking to shop local and support local. So the ways that our marketplaces are set up right now, very product focused. Sellers might not have what a person is looking for at any given time. And that person then never knows that you might have something similar that they're looking for because they don't get the chance to see it because they're only ever looking at products, right? If that user's just staying on their product search, they kind of stumble upon something else and you maybe never see them again. They have to become familiar with your business. They have to come into your world a little bit. You want them to follow you. You want them to like your shops on Etsy or whatever platform, subscribe to your newsletters, visit you in store. And the nice thing about your inventories is that they are always sort of unique, to use that word, and changing. And people do need to check back if they want to check things out, right? So the challenge is that local and small, they're overlooked kind of in the current landscape, and helping buyers find them has been largely overlooked. There's reasons why. It's not that sexy to do all this stuff because it's hard work, right? It's listings, it's surfacing small businesses. I'm sorry. When shoppers are ready to buy, they're looking for resellers and related vendors to do it in a few ways. They're looking by specific products. So like I already said, they're on the platforms. I'm looking for a maxi skirt. I'm looking for an antique cabinet, whatever it is. Etsy and all those platforms are very good at fulfilling that kind of request. But there's three other ways that consumers search. They search by general interest or purpose. So I'm looking for vintage shops that fit a cottagecore aesthetic, or, I want 80s clothing sellers, or I'm going antiquing this weekend and I want to see what's around. I want to go to a vintage market today and browse a bunch of shops at once. There's also search by category and location. So I'm looking for vintage streetwear stores in Los Angeles or Montreal. I love Georgian furniture and I want to know online stores that specialize in it. They're also looking for services. So I'm looking for private shopping appointments at vintage stores for my bachelorette party. I inherited my grandma's furniture. I want to get it reupholstered. All these kinds of requests pass through my desk more often than you would realize. So 1 is fulfilled by the marketplaces. We established that, but 2, 3, and 4, as a consumer, kind of lacking on where to go for info. Exactly, Chelsea. I envision myself in a year from now going to use this directory when I'm going to shop somewhere else, right? Like I want to get it to that point, and we'll talk about how we're going to get it there in a little bit. So what does this tell us? Here's what it tells me anyways. Shoppers can't always find what they're looking for. It's really hard. Obviously, we covered this, to find local shops and services on any of these platforms because they're designed to highlight the product. Local shops and services need to be more visible when buyers are making a decision. Google isn't overly helpful, right? It's only surfacing the best SEO. It's very selective. I could type 70s clothing Toronto into Google and I'll get maybe 5 to 10 business names on the front page. There are more. We all know there are way more. They're at malls, they're at markets, they're online, but they're not appearing in the search results because they often don't have the kind of web presence that, Google's looking for when it's coming back with those results. So supporting local can be hard for a shopper because this info has not been collected in this way before that makes sense to a shopper, right? Small businesses are also tired. The high effort and low reward of some of your current marketing efforts, it could use a little shakeup, I think. So shops and services also aren't visible enough, right? We've talked about online search. It's a needle in a haystack. On social media, you've got the changing algorithms, markets, antique malls, minimal budgets to advertise. They're relying heavily on word of mouth and local foot traffic, which is great. But there could be more to do to help them. So by widening the pool of people that can find your shops and services, we have a better chance of some of them actually finding your shops and services, right? Services are hidden. So in addition to your main inventories, many sellers are offering a range of services beyond your product curation. You've got custom sourcing, organization, style bundles, repair, closet clearouts, styling, all that kind of stuff, appraisals, authentication. This stuff is really unfindable for the average consumer unless they've already found you, and they're following you on your social media, or they happen across your website, or they come into your store and they learn about it organically. But if somebody's looking for that stuff online, it's hard to find. And the space isn't connected, right? So the vintage, antique, secondhand sector comprises large retail brands, of course, but there's also thousands of indie sellers just like you who are running your bricks and mortar stores, your online shops, your marketplaces, your storefronts, your pop-up markets. And there's a large ecosystem of related shops and services that would benefit from being connected to this sector. So like props and costume rental houses, estate clear-out places, auction houses, lamp repair shops, realtors, interior designers, stagers, all that kind of stuff. Resellers need more opportunities to connect with these related service providers who may be potential customers someday. So we need discoverability. I hope I've established that at this point, but we need to connect buyers and sellers. We need to tackle discoverability because it is a constant difficulty. Only 15% of people turn to social media when they are searching for information on products and services that they want to purchase. And that is according to a 2023 study by HubSpot, which deals in social media. They're a huge social media giant, and that's what they're saying. So people are mostly going to search engines, they're going to blogs, they're going to Pinterest, they're going to Reddit, they're going to directories like this one. If it's a specialized, industry like ours, that's where they're finding their information. Yes, Pat, I'm going to get to that for sure. Given the number, a lot of small business owners are spending a disproportionate amount of time marketing on social media, right? Social media is a really, really important tool to maintain relationships with customers. It's a great creative outlet. It's, if some people are doing really well with their reach, then great. And its paid marketing is actually, pretty decent. But let's say that you use Whatnot and Instagram, or Ruby Lane and Instagram, or whatever. Choose your platform that makes sense to you in your head. If you're only reaching the people that use that platform, that are using Whatnot or Ruby Lane, and then a fraction of your Instagram people, because we all know that only some people see our stuff, it's actually quite a small pool of people that you're marketing to. And sometimes the go-to then is, I need to be on another selling platform, right? Well, that is a lot of work to do that. And there are other ways to do it, right? You can market your business more in order to bring people to where you're already selling. And that's part of the idea behind this. You market what you already do before you have to branch out and continually take on more stuff. But we have to surface you in this space in other ways to reduce friction and make it easier for people to shop secondhand, because otherwise they're going to keep doing the easiest thing, which is to turn around and go on Amazon instead of coming and trying to find something. So if secondhand and reuse and repair, if we're going to consider them like key parts of the circular economy, which we're all talking about all the time, including the lawmakers, they're always talking about it. Somebody's got to do something about it and enable more people to consume this way and ensure that resellers are maintaining viable businesses by making you all more visible. And you cannot get new customers if they can't even find where you are. So let's help them do that. Okay. We're going to do the shop secondhand directory. Yay. Exciting. So a lot of people have said this to me that they've been wanting a directory like this for a long time. It's been in my game plan from the start, but there's a reason, like I said earlier, that no one has made one yet. And it's because collecting this kind of information is not easy. It is difficult. It's a beast of a project, but luckily I like projects. So as far as I know, this is the first one that's built like how it is, informed by sellers and service providers, designed to highlight local businesses. And when I say local, and when I'm using that word local, I mean local to a user in their area, but also small businesses in other localities, right? Supporting local across Canada and across the United States. So, even if we're talking about shipping stuff somewhere, it's still to me a local business if it came from small town USA and got shipped to me. I'm supporting somebody in their local economy, right? Okay. This is such a huge part of the secondhand and sustainability movement as well. This idea of supporting local, supporting small. And I spend a lot of time kind of talking to the public about small businesses, but they have to be able to find them. We want to start shifting their behavior to think secondhand first. And that means thinking about how we shop in a different way too. Rather than going after all the products all the time, let's create relationships with our small businesses and actually become repeat customers. So we're going to talk about it for a couple more minutes and then I'll show it to you. So let me just go to the next one. So the Shop Secondhand Directory is a specialized search engine that connects buyers with resellers and related services all in one place, no matter where they sell. We are currently focused on building out in North America. So this is like a portal to all things secondhand. We feature thousands of listings for vintage, antiques, and secondhand shops and services, so consumers can discover new to them places to shop circularly and link out to those businesses directly. So it is web-based. It is not an app. It is not a product marketplace. A lot of those exist. Like I said earlier, they're doing a good job. It's a place to drive traffic to where you already sell. Your websites, your social media pages, your markets, your Etsy or Poshmark shops. It's a findability and discoverability tool that's designed to be used both on the website itself and to start populating in search engines like your Google and your Bing. And I want to touch on why I'm using the word secondhand because I know we have some true vintage and true antique folks on the call. And I know it's hotly debated amongst our community. But today's shopper is largely buying from multiple places and they're mixing multiple styles. And so presenting all secondhand shops and related services as a one-stop shop is reflective of that, right? The conscious consumer who's interested in shopping more sustainably isn't always partial to whether they're categorized as antiques or vintage or pre-loved, so long as they are used items. So these days, more and more antique dealers are mixing their inventories with vintage, and vintage sellers are stocking more pre-loved contemporary items, all in an effort to meet changing consumer preferences, right? So shoppers are using things like secondhand, thrifted, used, etc., to be part of this global movement, and we want to put them first and think about how they are searching for information. So I've thought about all of that. But I've also thought about the fact that sometimes people just want vintage or they just want antiques. So we've built in filters for that too. So as long as the listed shops and services on the directory ensure that they're listed in the correct categories and they have the correct filters checked off, directory users who are the vintage and antique aficionados can filter more deeply to only search for antique shops or only search for shops that carry vintage if that's their preference. So no matter what you sell, I just want you to carry that with you as we get into it. The directory was really designed to be as inclusive as possible. So Google and AI and other traditional search engines are favoring the best SEO. There's so many small businesses in this space that have little to no web presence or have, a web presence but a limited budget to make their own very high-powered SEO website. Or they're operating mainly on marketplaces, antique malls, social media, right? So we've designed this directory with searching in mind. And for the consumer that loves hunting, like a secondhand shopper, I think it's a good chance for them to find your service. So it's a hub for people who want to shop this way. They can favorite your businesses, they can contact you directly off the directory platform if they wish. They can also link out directly to your websites, online marketplaces, and your social media pages. So, some functional questions before we start the tour. Who can list in the directory? Vintage, antiques, consignment, thrift, pre-loved, resale shops, and individual resellers selling offline in stores, in markets, in malls, online, in marketplaces, apps, social media, websites, etc. All of it is okay. Antique malls, collective spaces, other multi-vendor establishments that house secondhand vendors, markets, so market organizers in that case, shows, other secondhand related events. We have an events calendar on the Vintage Seeker. It's moving to this site, and you will be posting your own events as well. Any business or individual that is involved in the acquisition, ongoing maintenance, or downsizing of secondhand goods, even if they're not a reseller themselves. So that includes auction houses, tailors, upholsterers, estate sale companies, liquidators, rental companies, organizers, etc. The idea is to make it a one-stop shop for a person to come to kind of do that full nose to tail, if you want, of secondhand shopping. Who is going to use it? Shoppers and consumers, obviously. People curious about secondhand. Media people who are searching for ideas about stories. If I was the editor at House and Home or at Fashion Magazine or at wherever, I would want to be checking this for ideas for stories to find small businesses. Vendors can use it for collaborations, right? You can find other vendors on it. People in adjacent industries, like I said, some of those other ones up higher, the random folks off the net that are looking for services, the sky is really the limit for who's going to use it. So is it free for shoppers? Yes. Is it free to list? Yes. There are options to upgrade your listing. We'll go over them and what you get after the tour. And there will be a promo code given out today as well if you missed that at the top of the hour. Is there a way for buyers to recommend or rate sellers? Like Pat was asking. Yes, we are currently trialing very short reviews right now, just max 100 characters with star ratings for the standard and showcase plans. Ratings push you up in the search priority as well. We can look at expanding the ratings and reviews and how much people can review, in the future. I just want to kind of trial it and get your feedback on it because I want it to be useful to shoppers, but I also want to be cognizant of the fact that many of you have reviews that you want completed on Etsy or wherever you are selling. So I don't want to make it too complicated or too overwhelming for the shopper. So right now it's just stars and like a little sentence, but if you have strong opinions about that, let me know. I'm ready to hear everything. So how am I going to promote the directory and how can you promote the directory? I am going to talk about that after the tour. How big does your business have to be part of the directory? Somebody asked this on the registration and my heart just like broke a little bit because I know that the imposter syndrome is real. You can absolutely be brand new. You do not have to be big or at any particular stage of your business. I am not putting caps on who can list, on what size they have to be. I do have categories for the major apps in there only because people do look for that information. I do not think that they'll be necessarily grabbing their listing, but they're there if people need them. The idea is to promote local and small businesses, and it's going to be marketed that as such, and it's going to be marketed to those businesses to list themselves as well, right? This is an opportunity for you to get some more word out there on the internet about your business. And you can start with a free listing. You can keep the free listing if you want. There are no obligations to upgrade, although I will tell you why you should try it from time to time for sure. If you already have a website, then it's backlinks, it's online authority, it's helping your own SEO, it's helping people to find you who might not have found your website because they've stumbled upon you on this directory. And if you don't have a website, then this is a good one to use. It's like a landing page and you can use it as your link in bio or wherever you need to post a website. Okay, I am going to stop sharing this screen to take you on the tour. While I do that, I was hoping we could get, for the people that have their cameras on, a little wave anyways, so that I could take a little screenshot because I always love to remember a moment. Yeah, if you want to turn on your camera, that'd be cool. Okay, I got one anyways. Thank you. Nice to see y'all. Okay, so let's stop this share. Does anybody have any questions before I continue on? I was not totally seeing everything in the chat, so let me know. I'm going to take a sip of water. Sorry, I've been going on and on. I can really talk when I get going. Thanks, Maddie. It's a blazer. My party jacket. Okay. Let me just pull up the tour. Okay. I have lost my... 1 second. Just make sure that I get this. Okay. And I'm going to share now after all that. Okay. So I am sharing this on desktop, obviously. There is mobile. The mobile is working pretty well right now. We are still working out a few things, but it's, got a mobile experience as well. Not an app, it's just a website. So this is the homepage. This is what people see when you come. And there is a general search right here. So anybody could come in and chat. They could, sorry, chat. I started looking at the chat and then I said chat. They could type in any keyword they want. This is just a general keyword search just to kind of get them going. So I could type in anything I want there. It's the same search function here and here. It's just showing that you can do both things, right? And I'll get into the actual categories in the search in a sec, but I'll just kind of take you through the homepage quickly first. So we can browse by category here. These will change out over various periods of the year, obviously based on what's of interest at the time. So we can highlight holiday or whatever we want in here, but this will be some of our main categories that people can access this way as well. We have some resources on here for searching and listing, and those will continue to grow as time goes on, obviously. We're still kind of trying to figure out how to treat these, but the events will kind of be on like a rotating selection here of stuff that's happening. And there's an event search as well that I'll get into. Featured listings as well. So these, we were having some trouble with them today, but they're showing right now at least. That's all I need. So those will be rotated out on an ongoing basis on who's like making the homepage or whatever. And then, create a listing, all the stuff with that's happening in the footer here. There's a lot of stuff I'll let you explore on your own, but we'll get into the actual search. So when people come, they can go to the search results. I'm going to take us there right now. So listings are advertisements, even the free ones. I want to make that very clear. I don't personally endorse anyone, although I love you all. This is, this is an opportunity for you to promote your business. I am not monitoring what you write in here. So beyond having some posting guidelines stated for the site, it's kind of up to you what you want to put into your listing. And I'll show you a couple of good examples as we go along here. So first question I want to address now that we're on this page is there are many businesses already listed, obviously, and this is just the beginning. So there are going to be many more. How will yours even stand out, right? So when you arrive at the search page, you can see that number and it can be very overwhelming. But I want to highlight that users don't browse them all at once like that. They're going to immediately turn to the search to start refining what it is that they're looking for. So they can search by keyword here, or the name of the business if they know it. They can search by location, and it's all based on Google Maps. So that will help to geolocate them and offer stuff within the radius as well. They can narrow down further or just choose a category. They can skip both of these. They can choose categories. The categories are fairly extensive. Here are collectibles. We have a bunch of fashion categories. And I'll talk a little bit about choosing categories when we get into the back end. There's multi-vendor spaces. This is the section I'm really excited about, is the services section, because as far as I know, this information isn't really available anywhere else. So it's exciting to have a place where you can highlight all of this stuff that you are all doing. They can shop by decade or era. They can refine by style. So these are all categories that you can assign to your listing to have them in there. And then we have some thrift stores in here as well. Absolutely not an exhaustive list on anything. I just want to stress that it's a start what we have for the listings. There's also more features that they can filter by. So, you know, they can check off, I'm looking for stuff that has antiques for sure. I'm looking for a bricks and mortar store. I'm looking for stuff that's budget friendly. I'm looking for luxury. I'm looking for vintage, etc. With these, the listing, the owner of the listing needs to go in and into the back end and actually check them off in order to show up in any of the searches. And that's true for the categories as well. But as far as the listings that already exist on the site, they haven't really been assigned these yet. That's really a feature of the free plan that you can access some of those things. So there's also options for shipping and delivery. So if you're really looking for something that ships to Canada or a seller that ships internationally or that offers pickup, you can also put all that in there. Again, incumbent upon the company, the shop or service that's listing to have those categories on their listing and have a well filled out listing so that they show up in the search as many times as they can. So if you want to um, think of it as refining this way, there's going to be a lot of times where a user can combine many things at once, and your shop might be the only one or only one of a few that actually ever shows up in a particular query. So there may be a lot listed here, but by the time somebody's done over here, you might be one of the only ones coming up on the right-hand side. So if you want your listing to stand out even more, then that's when we have these upgraded listings. They're called standard or showcased, and they have a colored line. So showcase has a green and the standard has a yellow, and they allow you to put your business logo, your extra categories, and more business information. And they kind of catch the attention of a user a little bit more than some of these other ones, right? Some of these ones, which these are supposed to have a photo, but that was, again, things that happened over the weekend. We'll file it under many issues. So yes, if you have reservations about being found among other shops, just want you to kind of consider if a user is using the directory to create a list of 20 local vendors that are specializing in what you do, then you probably kind of want to be on that list, right? Rather than being left out of that list. And so listing on here kind of make sure that like at least you're going to come up if somebody's searching for Automobilia or Canadiana or whatever. Okay, so we went through the categories. Let's see. Yes, so there are 2,600 listings so far. It is really just a drop in the bucket. It is minor when we start talking about how many categories are here. There are some categories that have like 500 right now, and there are some that have 3. So like it's just a matter of figuring out where yours is and then claiming it and then changing up your categories to help you get seen. So let's try some. So oddities, I'm going to just search for oddities. Let's just say I'm searching for that. I'm not going to have any other categories. So this is who's coming up. These are sellers that somewhere in their listing says that they have oddities, whether it's a category that they've listed in or they've mentioned it in their keywords. The search is crawling the whole website. So these are also people that have oddities in their titles, right? So here's another one. So stereo, in this case, this is the only seller on here that has stereo listed right now. So if I was, trying to find something and there was something more specific, a keyword that they had picked up in your listing, it's very possible that you could be the only one that comes up. So somebody asked, is there a way for us to know that the shopper found us through? Yeah, you know what? Let me look into that. That's a really good question. If you could have like a link of your own, right? Because you want to link. Yeah, so you would have to create like a tracking link of your listing, and then you would point that to your website. But let me look into the tracking links and what you'd have to do so that I can put some documentation together. That's a great question. Thanks, Casey. But I would have a lot of that data myself. So if it was something that you were interested in, I could see where people are coming and going. Obviously, I can't like produce that for every single shop, but I could look at Google at like some of the analytics of who comes in and where they leave and all that kind of stuff. But I'm pretty sure there's an easier way to do it. So we'll figure that out for you. Okay, so location, let's just try to do a location by itself. Let's say I wanted to do Montreal and oh, let me clear the filter first. I'm sorry. So those ones that were coming up were ones that had a radius that would, um, so at some point somebody has put, so this person has put that they serve Canada. So this person will ship to Montreal. There's also, people who show up in Montreal. So I won't get into it too much today, but you can do service areas that sort of talk about where you serve. So you could exclude Canada if you want to just be like very specific on your local region as well. Okay, let's try another category search. So women's clothing, let's do. Okay. Search. So here's 370 women's clothing. In-person shopping versus online. Yes, so there are filters for booth, bricks and mortar, and sells at markets. So those three are kind of the in-person. If I miss one, let me know. But somebody could check off all three and then it'll turn up all of them as opposed to I want stuff that do all three of these things. I hope that makes sense. Yeah, so this is the one that has obviously a lot more people in it, 370, but I could further refine this by typing in a location, and it doesn't have to be a city. I could type in women's clothing in California, and right now we have 6. Okay, so obviously there's a zillion more, but right now there's 6. So you can refine with multiple filters as well. Let me see. Yeah, so I mentioned in the free plan, even you have access to a lot of these in the free plan. You want to go in and check these off because right now they're pretty empty, pretty dry, and I didn't quite get to filling them all out. So I'm going to go to a listing. I'll show you a well filled out listing. So this is one of my beta testers, Kara. Thank you so much for coming tonight. You have a cover photo. It's showing very big on my screen because I have a very big screen that I'm showing you this on, but you have a cover photo, just kind of like a social media page. People can contact you directly. So this is an email that gets sent directly to you to an email address that you specified to the directory, and you can get inquiries from people, right? So it's like leads. I like to call them inquiries because leads sounds very like Glengarry Glen Ross to me, but they're inquiries about your business. And the send message feature does the same thing. If the person has a phone number listed, it'll show it. You don't have to put your phone number. You don't even have to put your location if you sell online. It doesn't have to be location based, as long as you know that not putting your location means that if somebody is searching for a location, then you won't show up. But you could use broader locations like your state or province or your country. And this is all in the documentation. So I know it's a lot of info. So this is a really well filled out profile. There's a lot of information in here, but there's also a lot of keywords in here. So Kara might be listed in a ton of categories, but she's also added extra words into her listing so that the filters will pick it up. So it might pick it up via the category, or it might pick it up via stuff that's happening in her overview. Okay. And so then there's the location and contact. There's a map with where you are at the bottom. There's links to your social, your website, etc. I want to show you some shorter listings so that you can kind of see. You can do kind of whatever you want. This is another one of our beta testers, Ash. Thank you, Ash. I don't know if they're on the call tonight, but thank you. Again, Ash has lots of social channels, so they're all there. Website, Etsy, other web shops that they have, all that kind of stuff. There's fields for all of this. Okay. This is also Ash putting in where they will deliver. So that will help them come up beyond Kingston, Ontario. They can come up in searches for all of these areas if they're willing to deliver. Okay, and then I'm also going to show Sarah's, who was my third beta tester. So thank you, Sarah. If Sarah's on the call, say hi, but I don't know if you made it live, but thank you. I want to show a couple of the other features on Sarah's. Let's see. So you can put coupons on here. So this is for showcase plans. You can have a coupon that's listed, and that'll also go into our coupon section, which people can find up here. You can also post events. So Sarah has an event posted as well, and every plan can post events on their own. Depends on how many you get, depends on the plan. And there's also the opportunity with Showcase to have photo albums. So you can show some typical inventory. This one's not popping up, but this is just stuff just to give people an idea of what you sell. You can change this out as much as you'd like or as often as you'd like. What else on here to show? I think that's kind of it for the features that I can show on the front end. One other service that we have that I'll be promoting more on the homepage in coming weeks is our Get Matched program. So that's like the lead program right here. It's like this, but basically it's more general. So if a customer doesn't know what shop they need, but they have an idea of what they need, then they'll fill out like a general inquiry form. It'll show up in a lead section on the dashboard. You'll be able to like review them and then either respond to them or not. How you can respond to them depends on the plan that you're on. Does anybody have any questions about the front end before I show you the back end? I'm sorry, it's already 8:50. Try to go faster. Oh, I should probably show you the events, huh? So events, how they work, they need to be tied to a profile. So there will either be a profile if you're a market organizer, there will be a profile for your market if you don't have like a shop or service that you want to have a profile that it's attached to, or it'll be attached to your markets or attached to your shop or service. So Sarah had one event, so that was tied to her profile. It automatically publishes to her profile and can get searched that way, but it also gets added to our main events calendar as long as there isn't already one for it, because basically we don't want to have 100 of the same event on it. So we're kind of controlling that on our end. But basically you upload the information and you get to take it down. It'll automatically come down. But if it's canceled, you take it down, all that kind of stuff. So you can consider it kind of another marketing opportunity for your events that you're hosting at or vending as well, vending at. Okay, there's a help section, a lot of resources there. When you're signed in, you'll have access to this set up your listings guide. And I'm not signed in on this tab, so forgive me for that. I'll show you after. Let's go and log in. I will come back on how to join. It'll be through this button. We'll come back to that in a few minutes, but I'll go on to the back end first. So this is how our Vintage Seeker is going to find the directory. I'm going to get to that in a few minutes on how the directory is going to be promoted. First off, it'll be linked on my site. And that's like bare minimum, obviously, but it just hasn't happened yet today. It was supposed to happen. Tomorrow it'll happen. So I have a marketing plan and I will go over that in a few minutes. So thank you, Laura, for that question. Okay. This is your dashboard. I'm going to actually go back and show you how to claim a listing first. So let's say that you want to type in your business. Who's on the call today? Who I would have on here? Let's see. So let's say I want to see if my shop is on here already. So Rusty Bourbon Vintage is on here. I would click this and I would click claim listing, right? So this is just a general information. This is a claim listing. It has the social media already for the shop. It doesn't really have any more information. It also, hopefully doesn't have incorrect information, but might. So, claiming it allows you to update it and you can register for a free plan and update it that way. So if I was this shop, I would claim my listing just like this, and it would bring me to the plan page, which I'm going to go over in a sec. And then if you don't have a listing, which is absolutely possible because, like I said, only 2,600 listings is a small amount. And statistically, more people are not on this than are right now. Not personal about who's on this. It's just choosing via various research sources, trying to get people on here. So if your listing isn't there, then you'd click this button and you'd get to the plan page. So I'm going to go to the account dashboard. I'm going to show you that. Was there, okay, no, Kara answered that. Thank you, Kara. I know this is a lot of information at once, so hopefully the recording will be helpful. So this is an account dashboard. I'm showing you a showcase plan, so you know you may not have access to every field depending on what plan you're on. There's a lot of documentation. Like I said, when you are logged in, you can, okay, I'm no longer logged in. Give me one sec. When you're logged in, you can access the guide section. There's video documentation of how to do basically everything that is back here. So I'm not going to spend a ton of time doing that for you today, but I will point out a few key things. You can access any of this stuff here to update your listing. You can get help to build your listing, category lists, suggested keywords, listing help guides, frequently asked questions. All of that is there. You can always see what's going on with your account down here. Here's where you would manage any classifieds. We have a classified section right now. It is for vendors only at the moment. There's potential for it to be kind of like a free public one, but right now it's just vendors only to keep it manageable. And that's for the standard and showcase plan holders right now. So it's like you can sell stuff to each other, buy stuff. You can do vendor calls, inventory management, get rid of stuff, all that kind of stuff. You can set up coupons, your events, your photo albums. You also, on the showcase and showcase plans, you have the ability to put some embedded videos on your profile as well. And if you have any related businesses too, those are, branches of your business that might have a different name. So some stuff to know. If I were to go and fill this out, I'm just going to show you, there's help text under every single field basically to tell you what to do. So do read some of that because there is some helpful information. You know, this person can put as many shops and services or marketplaces that they have into their listing. There's space for all of it and it'll all sort of look good on the other end once you've filled this in. So it takes a little bit of time to set one up right at the beginning, but once you've done that, it's pretty passive. It's pretty easy form of awareness building long term. You can obviously update it as often as you want. I would actually encourage that, around key selling periods. You might want to change the categories that you have or the keywords that are in there just to kind of make sure that you're showing up on the site. How to choose your categories. So there's instructions here about that. There's instructions on the PDF about your categories, the full categories list and suggested keywords. But basically, we want to try to stick to the main ones that you offer in order to avoid potential customer disappointment, right? So you might have inventory in 50 categories that passes through your shop, during the year, but it's unlikely that you have 50 categories of stuff at every time. So the idea is to kind of like change them out as you can. And, maybe you're going to get a box of fabric and notions in and you want to make sure that you're listed in that category for a while. And then you sell it and you're not taking any more in. So get rid of it off your profile kind of thing. So you want to make sure that customers have a good experience when they come to your profile. How do we claim the directory and get past the payment page? So Maddie, I will reach out to you afterwards about that, because that's for the community members, got some early access to the directory. So there's a different way to get in. Let's see what else. Help section, where to go to join. Okay, so I'm going to quickly walk through the plans here and walk through some of the highlights. These are the regular prices. They are not the prices for tonight, obviously. So at a starter or free package, you're going to be in a couple of categories. You can refine by 5 features, which are those little checkbox I showed you earlier. You get website, marketplace link, a social media link, 5 events on your profile, a short description of your shop, which is nice. You can verify your business. So there's an option to get that little check mark on your profile as well, which helps for people with like sort of recognition that you have been checked as a business. What level do you give the avatar image? Yeah, so that's standard. So standard can put profile image or showcase or Super Showcase. Super Showcase is the same as Showcase, except it has the Vintage Sellers Community annual membership in it. So I will come back to that in a sec. But as you can see, I'll let you kind of go through this on your own, but you're in 10 locations on standard, you're in 20 locations on Showcase. You have a lot more room for description on Showcase. You get different levels of referral credits if you're helping people to join, and we can talk about the referral program as well at the end of this too. So I'm going to just admit Jennifer here. Sorry. The Super Showcase has the Vintage Sellers Community membership in it as well. It's an annual membership. That one's open to resellers and dealers only. And I just want to talk about the VSC for a second, just because I know not everybody knows all about it, but it's a community because it's a nice word that's reflective of the spirit of the space, and it is one. The group offers friendly advice and support to one another for sure, but it's actually a lot more than a community. It's a professional development and networking group, and we bring in experts to discuss topics related to the business of reselling, so SEO, social media. We host member workshops, we trade knowledge, we participate in challenges. We're currently running a 12-week marketing challenge. It's a fun place to be, but also a very chill place to be. It's not like social media where there's stuff like going on all the time. And it's only open to resellers and dealers. So if you're a market organizer or service provider who doesn't have their own selling business, then you would go for the showcase instead of the Super Showcase if you want the top listing. The other thing about the community is that you have access to my time as well on calls and stuff. So I'm obviously here for support with the directory if you're having trouble with your listing. But as far as, talking about your business and stuff, I do all of that in the community. And I also offer that separately outside of the VSC. If the membership isn't something that you're interested in, but you ever want to talk to me, I do consultations as well. They're on my shop page on thevintageseeker.ca. Okay. So these prices are billed in Canadian dollars. If you are with us from the US, then it is your lucky day because you get the exchange rate working in your favor. You don't have to do anything. Your credit card does it for you. Very straightforward. I've done separate pricing in the past, and it's a lot easier for me to do it this way this time. So that's what's happening. So these are the regular prices, and it's an annual fee. And why? Because it takes time to build your listing, to build ranking, to get notice. And per month, it works out to, I'm going to actually go back to my slideshow. Hold on one sec. Okay. Can we see this now? Yes. Good. Okay. Yeah, so these are the prices, regular, quoted in Canadian dollars, like I said. And this is the 20% off that I'm offering tonight. So per month, the regular is $8.25 a month for a standard, $13.25 a month for showcase. These are fairly small prices per month to talk about marketing. Can't even really run a boosted post for that. So and then we've got these prices here, the 20% off. So this is the Super Showcase is the same price right now as the VSC annual membership is regularly. So it's definitely a good time to join if it's something that you have been thinking about, for that kind of awareness all year long, both through the community and through the directory as well. Okay, so we're doing the 20% off today because the directory is just getting going. As I've already mentioned, it's going to take a few months for it to start kind of rising and ranking and getting logged by search engines. And so for the next week, the prices are going to be these amounts. That's going to be good through September 23rd, 2024. There is no silver bullet to marketing, right? It's a trial and error. You're going to try things. You're going to feel like they work. Sometimes you're going to feel like they don't. Marketing is always awareness, though. And it's true of any marketing you do that there should be a good mix, not every egg in one basket, obviously. I went to a show on the weekend and they were advertising in local media and on radio. And I love to see that because, you have to kind of spread yourself all over the place in order to be seen, like we've been talking about for the last hour, like I've been talking about anyways. And I know it can be really hard as a small business owner to market your business because it's not something that you can always tie a direct sale to all the time. But brand awareness in general is really invaluable. And having somebody say, oh, yeah, I saw you on the directory 6 months ago and I came here now because you have shopping parties and I'm planning something. That's a lead. That's important, as a business owner. So no matter what you do, whether you're going to stick with this free plan for forever, it's a promotional opportunity for your business, this directory. And I am really thrilled to be able to provide this space because I just think it's so valuable for the buying community. And a year from now, like I said earlier, I want to go to Vancouver or small town in USA and have a bunch of places on my list to go to because I was able to plan using this directory. And it's the same for all of you. You're all outsourcing. So we are adding businesses as claim listings. It's going to take us a long time. We want you to add. And if you only ever stick with the free plan, I encourage you to treat it as the opportunity it is and update it regularly to keep it fresh with your keywords. Like I said earlier, if you're somebody who does a lot of markets, put them on your profile. There's 5 events on free per year, 15 on standard, unlimited on showcase and super showcase. So, pulling that into your schedule every time that you're posting that event on Instagram, got to add it to the directory too, because this is another way for people to find you, come to your event. And the events calendar really lies with you. And we have some in there right now, but there are far too many for us to handle. My mom currently does it as volunteer work in her retirement, putting those events in. So this is your chance to just talk about yourselves and let people know about what you're doing. So how am I going to market this? Right now, we're in a soft launch period, right? For the next couple of weeks, at least. There is a lot of stuff that comes up with a website like this when it goes live. And we are working on fixing things. That's why I couldn't even hardly announce it today because there were so many things that happened over the weekend getting it live and going. So we're going to be making adjustments. I'm going to be collecting early feedback from all of you, starting paid promotion to sellers tomorrow already, though, and contacting market owners and antique malls to let them know about it and encourage their vendors to list because it's potential traffic for their business. Starting the last week of September, I'm going to be beginning a bigger marketing campaign. There's going to be a buyers and sellers week on social media, paid social for consumers and sellers. There's always going to be something running for this. I have a Pinterest ad rep. I'm going to be looking at doing some Pinterest ads in the fall, press release to media, applying to podcasts to talk about it. I'll be taking out a campaign on some industry websites and Google ads, regular email and social media marketing, of course. And then after that, I'm going to be looking to do more out of home. I had these fun postcards at a market on Saturday. So I'm happy to ship stuff like this to market organizers as well. I will also be starting to optimize the vintageseeker.ca to drive more towards the directory. So just so that you're aware of what's in the pipeline in the coming months for content on the directory site, there's going to be more SEO optimized editorial content like 10 cool jewelry sellers to look at, driving back to the listings, because that's a really important part of the SEO puzzle is having quality content on there too. We cannot just have a bunch of listings. It has to be content too. Luckily, content is my jam, so I'm on it. Okay. How can you market this? You might have seen the referral program when I was quickly showing the pricing there. There's a referral program for the standard and showcase and super showcase holders. So you get credit back onto your account in order to promote the directory. There's like a shareable link that you can have. It's for the standard plan. It's $3 referral credit for every person that signs up. So you could bank a fair bit for your next annual renewal, or, if you have fees that you need to pay along the way. The standard has a couple of points where you've posted 15 events and then you have to pay a little bit more to post more events. So you can use the credits for that. Karen, I might have missed some info, but I wanted to know when we can purchase the marketing packages. Oh, like now, I'm going to give you the website and the promo code in like 5 minutes, if that's cool. And I'm also going to be building assets for your account dashboard. So to share, social share stuff for all plans. I wanted to have that ready for today, but it's going to have to be tomorrow at this point. So like I said, things happen. Lastly, I think I just want to sort of manage expectations. Obviously, there's 2,600 businesses listed right now. It sounds like a lot. It's really not a lot. It's a drop in the bucket. It's a start. Some categories, like I said earlier, have 500, some have 3. We did our very best to get stuff in there so that we could get this out there. Like we turned this around in approximately 4 months. So there will be things that need to move around. There will be things that you come across that you're going to want to send me a note on because you're going to be like, Christina, this doesn't work, or like what's going on. It's just going to require a little bit of time for us to really get it to that state. And that's part of why we're doing a 20% off discount today. So it also requires you claiming your listing and setting your categories as you wish so that people can find you better. Thank you so much, Casey. That's very, very kind of you. I'm very excited to work with you all too and to get to know more of you through this. So we're going to be adding businesses as claim listings all the time. But again, the value is in businesses actually claiming those for somebody who's browsing the site. So even if it's just on a free plan, filling out what you can, claim listings are the lowest priority in the search results, to be clear. So they're lower than free. So at least if you claim your free listing, you're rising in the search results, right? I'm glad. Thank you, Kara. I'm glad that you found it easy. So and yes, the claim listings don't have those special filters. So hi, Elena. Yeah, I know you're at the very end and you're just in time, I think, to get the promo code, but I'm excited to see you here. And I will be sending out the recording in the morning, maybe before if I really feel ambitious. So phase 1 is feedback, a really important project of launching a project like this. Or important part of launching a project like this is seeing how people use it. And I anticipate that period lasting about 6 months of, really marketing it hard before we can make any really large scale changes or start to move forward into phase 2. Like I said, we're still sort of working on the mobile experience and stuff, but phase 2, for anyone curious, is marketing this to vendors in adjacent industries. So there is a lot we can do with this platform. I am so eager to hear all of your ideas as we start using it. And if you know anything about me yet, you know that connecting the industry is really, really important to me. I had Tina at Coast Consignment leave a note in the comments about how can we lobby to get the secondhand tax taken away. Yes, this is the kind of stuff that I'm very interested in doing. And it's stuff like this directory that can show people at higher levels of government the volume of people that this affects, because right now there's very little data out there. And if this goes very well, I'm looking to do a proper survey next year. So that's just hints for the future. So a lot of information, I know. I wanted to see if anybody had any questions before we break, and I give you the promo code so you can get out of here. I know it's a little bit past the hour that I said. Hi, Jessica, do it for wine agents in Ontario. I love it. I should, yeah. Because like we talked about that on the call before about having glassware and stuff. Concerns about referral program. Can you elaborate, Tyler? If you want to unmute, you can, but so I don't, people will in the community will know I don't ever really push people to do anything. I don't want you to feel like you have to refer the listings directory. Don't do it if you don't want to. But it's there as an incentive for people because I have tried not having an incentive and it's not always the most successful. So we'll try this for now. But if you have more deeper concerns, feel free to type them out here and I'll answer them. Getting paid to promote can inflate a positive review. Okay. Getting paid to promote can inflate a positive review. So, okay, so you're not actually paying the users though. So I'm paying you. So basically, if somebody signs up through your link, if another business uses Tyla's referral link to sign up, then Tyla gets a credit on Tyla's account from me. So like a discount for helping me to spread the word about the directory. So I don't know where the positive review would come. from, unless you're talking about getting paid to promote can inflate your reviews of the directory by sellers for sellers. That's fair. I mean, I hope that you will see enough value in this to not feel like there's anything inflated. And by all means, I would think that if you don't like the directory, that you wouldn't be trying to send the link to people too. So I hear you though. I know what you're saying. We'll try it out and we'll see what happens. Right now, I need people to list. Basically, like how Uber will give you $10 to refer a friend to use it. Yes, that's kind of like how it is. Thanks, Chelsea. If you have any more questions, just let me know. Because one more thing before the promo code, because I know you're going to get it and peace out. And I just want to say thank you. And thank you for your interest and support this evening at our party, which I should have had balloons for, but I didn't. But my excitement hopefully is contagious enough. But also your support over the last 3 years, whether you were reading the newsletters, the website, or chatting and sharing with me on social media. Thank you. I'm sorry, I'm very tired. Man, I'm very tired. If you've attended a past event, if you talked to me over email, if you're a member of the vintage sellers community and have supported me that way, if you've helped with the beta testing, thank you so much for being open and for embracing something new in this space and embracing me in your community. And I'm not a seller, but I try to think like one as much as I can. And I do try to think of a customer like a customer. And that's because you've all been so forthcoming with sharing. You've all informed this, and I didn't do it alone, even though at times this summer it definitely felt like I did when I was hunched over my computer like a shrimp or having meltdowns on my bed, crying in frustration at some problem or another, but it's really worth it when it comes together like this. And I also want to thank my husband, who's in the background on the call tonight, making sure that things run smoothly. He takes on a lot, and at times all of our domestic responsibilities when I build things like this, I really couldn't do it without him. And I truly couldn't function as a human. And of course, to my mom, who volunteers for me in her retirement, my whole family for their support. I have a virtual assistant named John who helped me with testing and pulling a lot of the service listings over the summer. So thank you to John as well. Developer Juliet, who took an out of the box solution and made it feel more like the Vintage Seeker. It was not a custom build, but we had custom parts and it was not easy. We had a lot of fun surprises over the last couple of weeks getting it ready for today, and she really pulled out all the stops to get it presentable for this evening. We also had some subcontractor developers who helped to build custom things to make this a really well-functioning round one. And again, it is a round one. There's stuff to sort out, but we made it, and I'm very happy. Thank you. It really takes a village, and I'm really grateful that you gave me your time tonight. I'm investing in this product because I believe it's truly valuable to your shops and services, of course, but because it'll be valuable to shoppers and to the market in general. And that in turn benefits you. And it's what I've needed for years, to have a place that I can point people to where they're like, where do I find? It's really, really thrilling. So again, it's the beginning of something. We're going to grow it together. I really welcome your feedback, even though I'm crying right now. I am absolutely open to good and things that need improvement always. Thank you. I make this with you. So I will give you through September 23rd, 2024 on any paid plan, including the Super Showcase, like I said earlier. So that's the Vintage Sellers Community Membership one. After that, there will be other promo codes as we're continuing to get this off the ground, but it won't be 20% off again. So I'm going to send the link in the chat. I wrote, I guess I got to write the link in the chat. So it's secondhanddirectory.com. There are also shopsecondhand.ca and vintagedirectory.ca for Canadian folks. If you'd prefer to promote with that title, that's fine. I actually have a number of other URLs that I might release at some point, just so people know. There's places that you can come to. It's not just that URL. So we want people to find it as many ways as possible. So I will stay on the call here at the end instead of just ending it in case anybody wants to ask more questions or wants help getting their listing going. And that's it for tonight. So thank you so much. And thank you for putting up with the tears. I had 3 hours of sleep last night. So that's what that's about. So thanks again, everyone. And if you want help or you have any more questions, just stay on and I'll hang out for a few minutes. Thanks for coming. Thank you. Thanks for the nice messages. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night, all of you. I really hope that you have a good one. So, and of course, reach out to me if you have questions via email. I should have put my email on there. But you can find me pretty easily. Instagram, DM, email, all that kind of stuff. So great to meet you. Thanks for coming, Charmaine. Thank you, Danielle. Thank you, Karen. Good night.
Thanks, Christina.
Thanks, Christine.
Unmute.
Great to
So
see
nice to see you. This is incredible.
Thanks. I'm excited to share the recording out there and let people see more about it. Thanks so much.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Thanks for coming, Tyler. Great to see you. Andrea, you made it late. It's like after 10 Atlantic time. Thanks for coming.